Hi everyone! Today I want to share with you how to dig and store dahlia tubers. Gardeners like myself in zones 3 through 6 will need to dig up and store their dahlias for the winter. Gardeners in zone 7 can usually leave their dahlia tubers in the ground as long as the area is well draining and a very thick layer of mulch is applied. However, indoor storage is still advisable in zone 7, and gardeners in zone 8 through 10 can leave their dahlia tubers in the ground year-round. There are lots of different ways to store dahlia tubers, and the right way to store them will vary based on climate, storage conditions, space, and time. Storage methods will also vary depending on whether you're storing a whole clump of tubers just as they came out of the ground or as individual tubers that have already been divided. I prefer to wait until spring to divide my dahlias because I find that they store better in clumps. But if you have limited storage space, you may want to try dividing your dahlias in the fall. You can wrap individual tubers in plastic wrap or layer them in a box with sand or vermiculite. You'll know the dahlia season has come to an end when the first frost arrives, which will turn those beautiful blooms to mush, and the plants will quickly turn a dark brown color. If possible, leave the tubers in the ground for 1 to 2 weeks after the first frost before you dig them. This additional time in the ground will allow their skin to toughen up and cure for storage, but take care to watch the weather during this time, and if any threat of a freeze looms, dig them immediately, because a frozen tuber is a dead tuber. While you wait for the tubers to cure, it's a good idea to label your dahlias so that varieties don't get mixed up during the digging and storage process. Use a waterproof marker to write the variety name on flagging tape and tie the label securely around the base of each plant. After 1 to 2 weeks of curing, you can begin to dig your dahlias. Cut the stalks down to 4 inches and use a pitchfork to gently loosen the soil around the tuber clump, being careful to stay far away from the central stem so as not to damage the delicate tubers. Lift the tuber clump and gently brush off excess soil. Check the clumps for signs of disease and discard any that look questionable, and cut away any tubers that may have been broken or damaged in digging. At this point, you can either wash your dahlia clumps or you can leave the soil around them for storage. I personally find it beneficial to leave the soil on the clumps and to store them just as they came out of the ground. Next, turn the tuber clumps upside down and place them into open paper bags or bulb crates. This will allow any excess water to drain out from the stalk before storage begins. Then take the tubers to a cool location out of direct sunlight and allow them to dry for a few days. After drying, cut the stalks back to 1 inch and then place them into large brown paper bags. Roll down the tops of the bags and place the bags into boxes. It's a good idea to label your bags and boxes in case your initial tags are lost or damaged. Store the boxes in an unheated basement or any location that maintains a consistent temperature between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit with 70% humidity. Make sure the storage area has no chance of dipping below freezing at any time. Check the tubers once a month for any signs of mold, rot, or shriveling, and make any necessary adjustments. If the tubers are quickly molding, rotting, or sprouting, the storage area and/or medium is likely too wet and warm. However, if the tubers are quickly shriveling, the storage medium is probably too dry. A small amount of shriveling can be remedied by spritzing the tubers with a bit of water, but pay attention to what the tubers are doing and make any necessary adjustments to their storage medium and location. Over time, you'll discover what works best for you. Once the winter has passed and the spring has sprung, you can open your boxes and start the process of growing beautiful dahlias once again. Well, I sure hope this video was helpful. Happy gardening. Bye!